Hi, hello, and welcome to Collaboratory. This is a show where Mike improvises an animatic with a little help from our audience, and we learn about the beautiful craft of storyboarding along the way. This is an improv stream where we're going to run on audience suggestions. Mike, what kind of prompts are you looking for here with the audience?
Hey, Vinod, just to preface that, though, I'm super excited to have you on the show. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you.
We're looking for three things. We're looking for characters, a setting, and a conflict.
Nice.
The building blocks, storytelling.
The building blocks. I mean, that's really it. That's what comprises a beautiful story at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So feel free to jump in the chat and throw in your suggestions. Wild ones will say, I'd like to go as wild as possible.
And the conflicts. I mean, let's just talk about some for a minute. When we talk about conflict, what we're talking about is just problems, not necessarily like a fist fight or something like that. So the conflict can be big or small. It doesn't really matter. We've had all kinds of different conflicts. One of them was just like somebody couldn't find something, and then they turned out discovering like there was a battle going on, which was the second conflict between like a little army man toy and a squirrel or a chipmunk or something, trying to. So this toy was defending the kid's lunch in the lunchbox.
A conflict can be anything that causes you mild amounts of distress. Like where you
right.
It could be anything. It could be from I can't find my keys. So. But no, it's going to be fun, right? Like this, I think the concept of this whole thing is to show story building. Like that's what we're talking about with this whole series.
Absolutely.
That's fun. That's awesome. But I was saying I've got a few questions for you. Let's start with that, right? Yeah. So this is actually a question that I love, right? Because I work in post-production personally. I'm a technical director at Disney TV right now. So it's post-production. So we don't enter the show until we when it's being animated. So we're I call it the bridge between production through to post-production, and then we're the ones sending off the shows. So we don't interact too much with storyboard artists. So I was wondering, what does a typical day of storyboarding look like for you in production? What is your day?
It really depends on the day. I mean, we start with like a script handout generally, and if it's a scripted show, because there's two different kinds, right? There's more board-driven shows, and then there's more script-driven shows. And the board-driven shows, I've never worked on one, but generally it's more of an outline based, and then you go in and start, putting something together in boards, and then the writing kind of follows, right? So, for those shows, I feel like the board artists should get writer's credit. But then for the script-driven shows, you get the script and you get the handout, which is how many pages of that particular script that you get. And then you have to start breaking it down. So sometimes the day starts with a bunch of meetings. Sometimes it starts with just a meeting between you and your director. It's different each day. Sometimes they're just production days, where you're just hitting the board and doing it all day.
Right. So, I mean, it's, you said that, you speak with directors as you plan out the sequence. So is it a team that you and another storyboard artist will work with, and then you go through the script and you'll start to plot down as to how you're about to plan the sequence out, and then would you pitch it to the showrunners, etc.? Is that how it goes for you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time when you get the script handout, there's it can be between 2 to 4 board artists on an episode, and then you'll get I want to hand you act 1 because you're particularly good at this thing, or I want to add do act 2 for you because this is where we need to bring in the funny and you're super funny. sometimes you get kind of typecast as a board artist with stuff that you can do. And that sort of thing comes out in the handout often.
Nice.
So,
nice. Oh, we have our first suggestion from Mr. Clash. Okay, a family throws a Thanksgiving dinner. They invited a few of their family and friends. As they're getting ready to eat dinner, they realize someone stole the turkey.
Sounds like we have a mystery on our hands.
So
dun, dun, dun.
Now they need to. So the plot is now they need to figure out who stole the turkey.
Yeah. So I think to limit it down, how many characters are we talking?
Yeah. So they invited family and friends, right? So we can
family and friends. So I think family and friends. The bare minimum for that is another 3 characters.
I was going to ask you in this using this scenario. I was going to ask you a question here. Is that how many characters do you like working with in a scene? Because it's a lot of work in terms of bouncing A, B, and C, right?
I think I think for this case, I think maybe we should start with a close up of the bird itself.
Okay. The turkey, the missing turkey.
We got first we have to establish that there's a turkey happening, and we'll put some garnish or whatever around it, maybe some steam coming off it, right? I'm gonna get a bigger brush here. Get a bit bigger brush. So and then whatever these little thingies are that you put on the ends, right? That are in all the cartoons, the little caps.
The little caps.
Just be like some sort of garnishy deal.
See, this image right now is very fresh in my mind. This turkey, because I've seen like about 4 of these this past weekend.
Right.
So, it's I've seen this exact site. So, are we starting with this? Is that your establishing shot?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do as an establishing shot. And I think we should have. Let's copy this. Let's duplicate that, and we'll just get rid of these meddlesome camera keyframes, and then we'll have somebody popping up, like smelling it.
It's funny you added that, because our following suggestion was they searched high and low for the turkey. They can smell it, but they can't find it. So they can smell it at the moment. It's missing, but
yeah. Let's see.
That's also a beautiful little expression. That's an amazing expression. That encapsulates how they feel. Look at that, the satisfaction. That was my face. I could say it. They're literally thinking.
Let's get that camera up just a little bit higher so we're not cutting that off. We can have him sort of pop up with the camera, and then let's copy that one. And then what about we do like hey mom, when is this ready? When is this going to be ready to eat? Let's see. Make sure that that's like about the same time. Yeah. He's got his knife, he's got his fork, he's ready to go.
So when you board something, like right now you're just kind of flying with the idea that's given to you. So how do you plan out your big moments, like your beats, as you would call it, right? How do you plan those story beats? Because you're just given one sentence at this point. You're just coming up with all of this. So what is your thought process?
Well, I mean, when you have something a little bit more prepared, it's easier to plan your beats around it.
Right.
Like when you're just making it up on the fly.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you have a script, obviously, but I'm talking about right now. What's your thought process when you're planning?
Well, I mean, there's got to be some sort of crescendo to the action, right? and
Right.
and that's kind of where you're going with that. So we have a kid popping up, and he's like, "All right, Mom, when's it time to eat?" And
Okay.
then we can go to a new shot. Oops, let's go to a new shot, and then maybe let's do the doorway lean out.
Mm.
So we'll get some.
So how many? So are you deciding as you build the scene how many characters you're adding to the shots, or you have an idea right now? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just do. We'll put like a little kitchen back here, right? In the dining room sort of thing. Let's put like a fridge, countertop, and then I'm holding down Shift and Alt. If you're wondering why I'm drawing this great, because those.
No,
tools
I thought you just had incredible penmanship. You know, where you have
really
super different.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that vote of confidence, but it's not quite that. So let's copy and paste that, and then we'll flop it, and then it just offsets by about 10 frames, so you have to kind of deal with that. And then if you hold Control or a Command, you can just duplicate it right there on the fly.
The magic of the digital world,
It's true.
You draw something once.
It's very true. You draw something once, and it's there. It's just there for you to mess with, and especially in the vector. I mean, we praise vector around here all the time because it's so helpful. Let's put a little, a window or something right here. Put some window dressing in it.
I mean, vector is a fantastic tool because you can draw something and then you can just rely on the editing afterwards, and you don't have to think too much about it. Even in terms, all of these assets, and also you can just scale them up to whatever you want, and it would not get depixelated.
Exactly, and that's one of the things. Like right now, I'm drawing with a textured brush, so it could get a little pixelated, but generally speaking, it won't. Like, just put a little portrait or here, the family or whatever,
You're just at this point you're suggesting that there are a lot of people in this room, but you're not really showing them. You're just suggesting them.
Well, let's
also, this is there's another suggestion, but we can bring this in a little later. I would say is that maybe the dog is eating the turkey under the table.
Maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to see where this goes.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I think what would help is like, what do these guests look like? What do they feel like? Are they just are they even people? Are they monsters or
this is those are great questions, and this is actually a great point. This is a moment where we can talk about when you're taking on a project, right? When you're doing a project, it's a fantastic idea to ask a ton of questions, because especially when you're working with a client that just asks for something general, it's great to like dig in a little bit and be like, so what are you looking for here exactly? So that it's a good question, Mike, about characters. How many people are we talking? How many friends? What's the scenario like? Also, this character that you drew on the fly is adorable as hell.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Is that a character that you draw normally, or is that something you just came up with right now?
No, it's kind of a template, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean you kind of have to keep a little bit of something in the back of your mind as far as the house design style, right?
Yeah. It's almost like the turkey design, so that's you have this one way of designing it in your mind, and you just keep going with it. And especially as a storyboarder, is that you come up with tricks like that, right? Like where because like that's the difference between our worlds, is you come up with ways of drawing something that is recognizable, but yet a good-looking drawing, right? You come up with short lines to be like, this is. I one thing I've noticed about you drawing is that you've been very economical with your lines, taking just like we 5 lines to get the face right. So I wonder if that's something you've worked on, in all your years of.
Yeah, you kind of have to,
So what's this? What's the scene here? Is that the following scene where now what's the mom saying?
Probably like something like, "Not yet, honey. Just wait a minute." She's got a spoon. She can kind of like waggle at him or something like that. Turn around.
Would you add movement? So when you're bouncing between two characters, would you add any movement to the boy? Like, would he be like jumping? Would he be not jumping like statically?
Well, I mean, the temptation is to have everything moving all at once, but
right.
That's never what you want to do. Like,
no,
you want to always kind of departmentalize that into a couple of different board panels, because
visual hierarchy.
Yeah, you want things to happen, only a few things at a time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you start to get things, spiderwebbing out on you, and the audience doesn't know what to look at. They're kind of lost as to what to look at because everything's moving all at once. So there's like it's like watching like a really complicated soccer match or football game, right? Where there's so many people moving on the screen at one time, it's hard to follow any one particular thing. Thank goodness for the camera. When you watch it when you're watching it in real life, like you kind of have to.
But using. Yeah, that's an excellent example. But then you have something driving the visual, which is in this case the football, right? The ball itself. That's what you're
right.
Like. It's a visual element that's driving you through all the chaotic movements, right? So,
right.
What's the word for that? There's a word. Is it?
Focal
is it?
point.
I thought it was no. It was like pneumatic device or something like that, where it.
Pneumatic device. No, that's a mnemonic device, you mean?
No. Mimetic. MIMETS. Pneumatic device.
Oh, yeah, dramatic device. Sure. Yeah. Like a Maltese Falcon or something like that. Yeah, the thing, right?
Something to follow you through from scene to scene. It's a little visual element, like a point. Yeah, like you said, point of focus.
Yeah, like that goes back to like the geography of a scene and like the relative positions and things.
Yeah. So what are you when you're drawing this right now? Are you thinking about the following scene? Are you thinking about the next scene that you're going to leading into, or are you?
Yeah, I think we need to make a little introduction of Dad here.
That's right.
I think what we're gonna have is him walking in from the kitchen with his tie on. Or putting his tie on, maybe,
Is the dad doing a task in the kitchen as well, or is he coming through from somewhere else? Because we can always say that, in just a second, honey, as soon as Dad is, finished with the cranberry sauce or something, is he doing something?
I think what it's probably going to be is he's just getting ready for the guests to arrive, getting stuff ready.
So this is at the very it's about a few minutes away from dinner, not preparation. Right?
No, we're still got a few minutes out, honey, and then maybe we add just a little change of emotion from the kid, where he goes from being happier to like, aw.
You should like droop his face. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give him some Bell's palsy action. Droopy face.
Yeah, this is the advantage of working in vector. You just have to select the lines and move. Look at that.
Yeah, totally. Actually, I had a director one time that I worked with who had Bell's palsy. It was kind of a bummer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's how I knew it from. He was kind of struggling with that for a while.
Oh, I wonder what are his challenges on a daily basis, right?
Just talking, even was really hard.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because like you don't talk like yourself because like part of your face is like virtually numb.
Right. They communicate through their drawings.
Yeah, it's like when you go to the dentist and you can't feel half of your face.
Right.
It's like that only all the time. But he recovered from it, so he was good.
That's good. That's good.
Aww.
Yeah, I wonder because because you know, communication is such a vital thing, right? Like when you're unable to communicate a certain way. Because I've worked with a lot of people in that realm of things where they either been battling something or they were born with it, but they're excellent artists, so they can draw exactly what's on their mind to communicate what the idea of you know, in order to like come across the idea. Also, I really like the fact that you lowered the character, like you really made him sulk, so moving around in space. That's something that's also interesting to chat, right? Like where how are you utilizing the space that you've built? Because you built this little, you know, kitchen hallway sort of situation here, and like what how you know, because it's something that you have to think about in terms of the steps after this in production. Like what is the space between the mom and the kid and the turkey? Like what are like, so would you plan out some isometric little chart for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maps are very, very
right.
Maps are very, very important. Let's have him walking in with his, you know, nice clothes on, getting ready to do some entertaining. Entertaining in the fact that he's going to have guests. Not singing, not singing and dancing.
He's ready to be social.
Yep.
Nice.
And we can even have him, let's see.
Walking in from the side. What's how's your, by the way, I mean, how's your Thanksgiving? I don't, we haven't chatted since the.
Oh, it was fantastic. We split it up over 2 days, generally, because you know, we have my family and my wife's family, and we got tired of having to be stressed the entire day by just doing a lot of driving, and so we split it up over a couple of days, and that works out pretty well. Let's see. Let's have him cross over. He's got his tie that he's fixing up here. Let's make him, you know, pretty good-looking dude.
Yeah. He's got a beard, right?
That's important. Yeah. Gotta have a beard. I mean, look at us, right?
I mean, hey, beards is important. Beards are we play with optical illusion with it.
You can be handsome without a beard, but it's a lot harder.
But it's a lot harder. It's so much harder, you know, to show off that jawline with a beard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's have mom look at him a little bit right before she goes back to her thing.
Yeah, she's impressed, you know. She likes what she sees.
That's one thing that you know, you have to think about a lot too, is eye lines. Making sure that when somebody comes in, you know, that their eye line maintains. Right. And let's give this a little camera move too, a little adjust. I think as he comes into this, so we can start the adjust here. We'll just do it over the one panel.
Just a quick little.
There's a little widen out to give him some headroom as he walks in.
Right.
Now you have to wait, son.
Yeah.
We're expecting guests.
I could almost hear him when you said that. Like that was a voice that I could conjure. And so does he just walk past? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, he'll just cross over mom here, and we'll widen out just a little bit more. to include, the table and a couple little things. So we can expand this table out. And sometimes it really helps when you do like a shared drawing or something like that. Let's just do that right now. I'm going to come down here and share the drawing. And then I'm going to copy the selected layer, come over here, select all of these, and layer special. And then once hold, that does all the different layers. If you do once, it's going to only do the one layer, and then once hold, and it does all the layers. Override existing layer, and OK. So now every one of those layers, every time I update it with something like a so, it's going to be common among all the layers.
Look at that. That's a little nifty trick.
Yeah, and if I wanted to put in like chairs, like say if I wanted to put another layer here, or just like right here, if I want to just rough that in, I could do it. Even though it's over the other layer of the kid, like you could put in some other chairs or something like that. If I wanted to put something here. Whatever their chairs look like, put little knobbies on the top.
But now you have, so this is, I mean, are you setting all of this to the shared drawing layer? Is that a thing that's now it's going to be extended throughout the whole sequence?
Yeah. So what throughout this entire shot, that's
all of it. Right, there you go. There you go.
Not quite yet, son. We're still expecting our company.
It's always awesome to see. That's what you thrive for when a software version's up, right? You're like, okay, what are the cool little things that you didn't? I wish Harmony had the color in all thing, where you color one frame and it colors every frame. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that sort of stuff is on its way.
Oh man, I'm waiting for that instantly. How long have you been using Harmony? I mean, Storyboard Pro.
Oh, several years now. I actually started out with version 1.5.
1.5. So
and we're at 22 now.
22.
Although some of it went from 7 to 20. So
right. So you're talking a decade or so.
Yeah, I think it goes a little bit more with the year now that it's released. So
right.
Let's just tilt him back a little bit.
Also, I should have asked this question at the start, but what's the runtime that you're thinking of when a scenario is presented to you that the turkey is missing, right? Who took the turkey? So, what's the runtime you're thinking about? You're thinking about?
I don't know. We'll see how long we can go.
We'll just carry the.
We'll just go until we run out of time.
Nice.
How does that sound?
That sounds. I mean, we just start building the plot. It'll be like a whole Knives Out situation at one point.
Knives Out. And then I think we need to have like a, ding dong coming out from the side. It can be one of those cartoons that were like,
yeah.
There's like Tex Avery style.
Exactly. Are you using Shift for these lines too?
Yep.
Okay. If you said no, I would have totally believed you. By the way, because I'm really okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not using, or I am using Shift on that.
I was wondering. I was like, is his expression good? Is he happy that the doorbell rang, or he was caught off guard?
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be like, oh,
Ooh. How much of this is pre-planned? How much of this, that your next scene that you set up,
none of
for
it.
now, none of it. You're just about
None
to.
of it. We're just doing it on the fly. That's the whole
So,
point.
so you draw the first line, and then that's what it is.
Yeah,
It is what it
what it
is.
is.
It is what it is.
What we do. All right, let's see. Go. Let's take this and go. Actually, we're going to make a copy of that first. And then this one, we're going to just bring them up a little bit so we have a little like, whoa, It's a little shift. I mean, usually that sort of thing wouldn't happen altogether, but
Right.
it will in this occasion. I'm going to cannibalize this pose of dad here. And let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Tilt him forward. Be like, that'll be them now.
All of this stuff that it only reminds me of when I see these animatics in production, right? When I see the stuff that you've done in pre-production, um, all I'm thinking is how close we can get it for a rig to then adapt to that pose, because we need to make sure that they're as beautiful as your drawings, right? That's our first and only goal. I actually love it because I have quite a bit of friends in storyboarding, and I love it when they say that, oh my god, I saw that frame and it was literally my exact drawing, that they took the exact same pose, because the pose kind of changes over time sometimes, from storyboarding till the time that it's animated over, when we see it in post production. Sometimes a pose is updated because there are retakes, etc. And
the special poses.
Yeah, so I love it when I hear from storyboard artists that they're like, oh, they used my exact same pose and exactly how I animated it. They animated it exactly like that. Yeah, because as you're posing them right now, my brain is thinking rigs. It's about I can picture the harmony node view in my brain right now.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Looks like I accidentally deleted one of the poses here. So let's
really?
let's just copy and paste that. We'll rectify that little bit. Sometimes that happens when you get into something you didn't realize. You don't realize that you didn't duplicate that pose. So there was one of him about right here when mom was kind of like checking out that hotness.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, it's you. Oh, that's the frame you're doing, the one that she was checking out. Yeah.
So let's get mom, looking that way again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, still looking at him. 2 frames. Oh, but he's the one talking, so yeah. Would you stagger their animation? I mean, I think that's
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, I feel like that's when it comes into animation. That's when we'll think about staggering it and stuff like that, right? Do you think too much about, like, would you implement that in your boards when you're doing it? Like,
in a board that wasn't a rush job, then absolutely.
Right.
All right, let's just have him.
So you would do like the twinning and etc. You would incorporate all the basics of animation in
absolutely.
Amazing. The fundamentals. Yeah, look at that excitement to go to the door.
Yeah, maybe not totally back. It kind of looks awkward. So
I was thinking something more of, you know, when you bend an elbow and raise your shoulder, like the walk of, you know, where you're excited.
yeah, sprightly walk.
Well, yeah, like high spirited, where you're ready to take on the guests. So are we thinking? How many characters are we thinking here in terms of?
I think probably just 3 because we don't want to get this too complicated. So 6 characters, you know, 7 if we include like the dog, like what you're talking about. And if you guys have a particular breed of dog, then you know, let us know.
Oh yeah.
What you think would be like interesting?
Actually, you know, there's a question that I have from here when you say what kind of breed. How much of like, do you have a separate monitor on the side that's just, you know, pulling up references for everything you need to draw, or are these things, you know, like are these something that, I mean, I'm talking about, this is very situational, right? When you're doing something on the fly, you're just drawing it. But if you're given a breed, would you quickly look it up, or would you just try and
for sure, absolutely, yeah. What I mean, yeah, I would absolutely look it up and see kind of like what else, you know, needs to happen for that particular dog, because you know, if you have a very distinct breed, I mean, you got to do your research, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That was my question leading up to, is research. You know, it's the importance of gathering references. It's sometimes it can be tricky to, you know, to put the boards together, but I think it's extremely helpful. We have a question from the audience, by the way. How do you handle your boards? I saw lots of younger folks almost animating in their boards. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think that's part and parcel of companies and studios trying to save money by combining what would be normally and traditionally separate jobs. Like, you know, the character layout portion is kind of what gets lumped into boards these days. So that's kind of it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, I think you get a better idea of kind of what you should have in the board, but on the other hand, it's kind of like it becomes a lot of work. It becomes a lot of work to put all that stuff in there, and you know, is it really necessary? Well, yes and no, because if you have really strong posing and stuff in those boards, then you're going to see that in the animation, especially with the model of like doing all the pre-production and then sending it overseas, right? So like in that case, yes, it's really helpful. You get a better end product that way. Is it difficult to do for the artists? Often so, because it's just that much more work. On the feature side, I don't think it's as intense, because you're often going to be doing the animation there at the studio within certain limitations, right?
You know, that's actually a good question to ask about how do you manage, like, you know, as to how much you work on the boards, because I mean it all sort of boils down to the amount of time you have. You know,
yeah, it really does. It does boil down to that quite often. Yeah. And I think one thing we should do in this, let's do the doorway here.
That question was by LimeX Live, and they say, thank you for answering the question.
Yeah, I think also it's going to depend on what show you're working on too, and kind of what they're expecting. Right. So, yeah. So,
you know, I have a little piggyback of this question where I want to ask you about. There's a job position out there that is called storyboard revisionist. I don't see this often talked about, and I wanted to touch upon that because the question was about how do you manage drawings. So with this position in play, right? And I believe you've been a revisionist yourself as well.
I have been, yeah. It was my first
So,
storyboard gig was revision.
That's right, yeah. So that's usually the starting point for a storyboard artist is revisions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to ask you about your experience as a revisionist, because their management of drawings or management of your panels matters quite a bit, because if you're a storyboard artist, there's another position as a revisionist where you don't have to draw as detailed as you want as an artist, because you know that you're just trying to figure out the story points. Somebody else is going to then clean up the drawings for you, right? So
not necessarily. Revisionists are generally more fix-it people.
So they don't redraw anything.
They do. They draw a lot of things.
Right.
They draw a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's cleanup, but I mean, that's not something you can rely on as much anymore, because generally board artists will clean up their own boards. But I think that, one thing that the main thing that revisionists will do is do the changes. Like if a director has changes to make for a board, and the board artist is either overloaded with changes of his own, or they just need somebody to do something, they'll say, revisionist, come here and take this section, and this is what you do, this, and that, and you're on your way. So I think we need to do maybe some sort of like list of, like who's who of culprits. We'll do Doug Jones, maybe some sort of like.
Oh man, I'm forgetting the names, but when you drew those two, it immediately reminded me of the thieves from Home Alone. Like just a silhouette of them as you drew the two of them. I'm like, oh my god, that's. Well, what are the names of them? That's what I said.
So we can just color them in and make a nice little silhouette here. Let's get a paint bucket out. Paint bucket sometimes doesn't really work as well with textured brushes, but I mean, we get the idea, right?
I mean, that's good enough at this point. You're not looking for. Yeah, how much do you work for perfectionism at this point when you're boarding?
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be perfection in a board. It's just not. I mean, that's not the gig, right? The gig is to get the idea down, to build the story, and whatever works. Animation, that's where that comes in. Yeah.
There's actually a wonderful documentary. It's called "Finished Not Perfect." When where you call something, when the art of calling something finished, and you move on. Because you can work on something endlessly, and that little rabbit hole doesn't have an end. But it's a wonderful. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the documentary we're talking about?
No, I haven't. That sounds interesting, though.
It's amazing.
Okay, so we got Dad coming in there, and he is going to, let's just do some simple derpy drawings that we don't need to take a lot of time on. Actually, he's going to do it with the other hand, because that's going to be better for a. He'll just turn his body like that. That's going to be a better, pull.
It's a better pose.
Yeah, it's going to be better, and just how the physics of the thing will work.
Yeah, it's like you're literally drawing in keyframing. You're not going into breakdowns in betweens. I mean, a little bit, right? How much do you go? Or you don't go too much into in betweens, but you go into a little bit of breakdown line, right?
Yeah. Just doing some storytelling poses, right?
The storytelling poses. No, but I do see that you do all these kind of little movement of an animation when in the doorbell wings, and you kind of have them all animated upwards. Is that something that kind of bounces between storyboard artist to artist as to how much, a little animation they put in their boards? Or is that
It always depends on the board artist. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. I'm going to go to the perspective tool on this one. Just give it a little bit of something without too much effort.
That was the job. Look at that.
And then just get that capped off here. Just adding that little bit of thickness. And now we need to come up with these characters here.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's do.
Did you have a kid in mind with is that parents, mom, dad, and a child?
Not necessarily. I think it's. I think we're gonna do, like, a couple, and like a relative and a dog. I think. Did we ever get anything for the dog?
All right. No, we didn't. Not yet. But there's another question about boarding. But no, we didn't get any. We'll go with. What are we talking? What kind of weather are we talking? I'm thinking something like husky. I don't know. What do you like drawing? What kind of dog do you like drawing? Like? Is that something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really have a preference. No.
Should draw Scooby. I don't know. That's maybe if you have copyright.
Great Dane.
A Great Dane. Yeah. Is that? I think they have fun poses. I'm thinking about because my brain's thinking about how we're going to animate what kind of dog we're going to animate. So the easiest dog to animate is a little tiny one. Mr. Clash says a big dog like Clifford.
Oh, I don't know if we have room for that. Well, I don't know. Maybe we do. Let's think about that for a minute here. Maybe put her hands down in front of her. Like this. Because he would be someone that would be a prime culprit.
Maybe that's you could try a corgi or a Labrador. Corgis are fun.
Really big corgi.
A really big corgi? Like you want to go Clifford corgi?
Our friend Pam would really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, of course. We got a question for you from Limex Live. I just started boarding. What kind of exercises do you recommend? I had a talk with John Navarez, and he told me to use fairy tales. Do you have a similar tip for beginner boarders?
I think that sometimes it's good just to board out an experience that you had, something that's kind of uniquely you. Because like the fairy tale thing is great because people can. The thing about the fairy tale is that people generally will know the story, and they're looking for the way that you are telling the story, and that works really well with like a scripted sort of situation. But if you board an experience that you had, sometimes those can be really interesting as well.
Interesting. So, actually, that question was in my mind as well when you started this. And actually, I'd asked you about your Thanksgiving. So I was wondering if, the way your way you're coming up with these situations, are they based off of, what is your reference point, right? Are you thinking about something?
No reference point.
In person?
Just general Thanksgiving type stuff. People coming to visit. We all draw from experiences that we've had, right? In some way, shape, or form. And I'm gonna give this dude a monocle just because I can.
He does look like someone who that mustache needs a monocle. If you have a mustache like that and not wearing a monocle, I will judge you for sure.
And I think for this person. Let's do something like this.
He seems very pleased with those eyes.
He's just like that chill surfer dude.
Like that surfer.
Like he's not even dressed like nice like the other people are. He's just kind of like
a t-shirt seems very appropriate.
Yeah, like whatever. Hey, dude, where's the food?
Where's the food?
And then now we can get rid of our silhouettes since we don't really need them anymore. And we can add a little something to the background here. Let's do it in a light color. You know, trees or whatever in the neighborhood. Some sort of walkway.
Would you draw the rest of them, the characters?
Yeah, of course.
I was like, okay, they're missing legs, I think.
Yeah,
or maybe they're.
We have the camera right here, but yeah, we'll fix that for sure.
Also, I have a question about the dude's face. The tall one.
Yeah.
Is that a mustache? That's
No, it's just scruffiness.
The scruffiness. Okay. He's got those. What's that little 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock shadow or something.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Ooh.
A little longer hair.
A little mullet.
Yeah.
That is attention to detail. I like how you went back and fixed the silhouette.
And now we can finish off those characters. He's just wearing shorts.
Give him one of those longer shorts, right? Like where?
Yeah, board shorts.
Board shorts. Yeah, that's what you call it. He's wearing shoes, right?
We'll see. Or is he haven't showed his feet yet.
Wow, that lady is excited. She is.
Hi.
Are you gonna open her mouth wide?
Yeah. So we gotta put those braces up high.
What was the inspiration behind the braces? Like, did you just watch?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny.
I like how the surfer dude's expression did not change one bit.
Yeah. Hope you don't mind. I brought my dog.
Speaking of dog, where's the dog? We gotta get the dog in there.
Oh, he will be in just a moment.
He's like, hope you don't mind. I brought my dog, and he just he peeks his giant head through the top. There it is. You should never show the entirety of the dog.
Yeah, right.
Just keep him as this. You just see parts of him all the time. Like suddenly there'll be a paw, suddenly there'll be like a nose and an ear.
Yeah, right. Let's have like a nice big lick.
A lick, right? Just. There's that special pose.
Yeah. Nice big lick. He's got like giant teeth,
So what is he? Is he a corgi? Is that what you're going with? A big?
Yeah, I think we're going to go with a big giant corgi in honor of our dear friend Pamela.
different Pamela. Um,
And I think that will definitely warrant a. Oh crap! You know, I kind of.
what the heck?
Then let's see. Let's get her back in her. Actually, you know, I think this position's fine to grab that.
How strict do you keep your? I mean, in your own mind, how strict do you keep your layer management when you're working with these many things, these many elements that's happening in one frame?
Pretty darn strict, because I mean that's kind of the make or break it of Storyboard Pro is having good layer management.
I would say it's the make it or break it for most softwares that you work with in terms of art.
I think that's very true in a lot of ways.
Because I know, again, right, when I bring in talking about rigs, let's say all of these things that you're doing right now are rigs, you should see how many layers comprises of for one character. A character would have hundreds of layers because every single part is thought out. Like all the stuff that you're doing right now in terms of giving the characters storytelling pose, all of that has to be a separate layer because, you know, or we can have modifiable layers, but they all need to, well, the fact that they're modifiable, they need to be a separate layer.
Yeah. All right. So
I've seen horrible scene files where they have multiple characters in the same layer. What if you need to edit the timing on one character?
Yeah,
so
don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started.
No, on bad layering.
It sort of, I don't know. To me, it feels a little disrespectful because, like, you know, if this, you know, whoever's doing that board or whatever like that can't be bothered to make it at least usable for the person that's going to follow them up. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, either you make a statement as I'm a lazy person or I'm a disorganized person, or I'm so apathetic about this that I just don't care to, you know, help somebody out that I know is going to follow me up. Maybe it's just I'm so stressed and I have to just get this done. But at the same time, if you cultivate a habit of having good layer management, then, you know, that won't be an issue going forward.
Layers are important, and then and you're absolutely right about the attitude that one has towards putting layers. I mean, it's literally, you know, you're thinking about a production, not individualistically.
Yeah, well, individualistically, I mean, you're kind of like, if you want to, if that's the bed you want to sleep in, go ahead. But you know, that doesn't necessarily. If you're on a production, just be neat about how you do your layer management.
No, I'm at the so since I'm at the end of the production line, I deal with a lot of software or a lot of scene files of different softwares. You could say the Storyboard Pro, Harmony, whatever, that they've gone through various people already. When I get it, you know, sometimes I'm very appreciative of people that usually you have no idea how much peace it brings me when there's something well labeled or pointing me to the right direction so that I don't have to try and click and find it and, you know, etc. But then there are some of them that are just egregious where I have seen a file where I'm just like, I don't even know where I'm looking for it. So I have to strip the whole thing down and then bring one thing at a time, then see where it is, which takes a lot of time away from me. So
and it's inefficient. It's very inefficient.
Yeah, very inefficient. So is this the welcoming scene where you have the dad with a giant welcoming pose, open arms.
you know, he's
Is he making eye contact with the I would say the dad, the man, the monocle man?
maybe probably just one at a time, all the various guests.
Because you have him looking down, so I'm guessing the monocle man is kind of short.
Yep.
Come on in. Food's ready.
His best introductory pose. You know, and
Yep.
we'll clear the flower pot.
Yeah. No tangents, please.
No tangents, please. And then we'll get you know, Mr. Monocle.
That's the monocle.
And he doesn't even like have his hands that are like moving along. He just holds them over his prodigious belly.
Does he have like a walking stick, like a cane or something he's holding?
Nope. No, none of that. Let's have him have a. Oh no, I don't want to do the bowl cut. I like the other one better.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought he didn't have. I thought he had the.
Yeah, the whiskers.
What do you? They have the whiskers on the sides, right? Yeah. That gives him a lot more personality.
Yeah, maybe he kind of reminds me a little bit of Eric Goldberg. I love that guy. He is a class act dude all the way. And one of the greatest animators of his generation.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then so that guy will cross, and then we'll have
Did you do that on purpose as you were moving the character across screen? You did this little bob of a walk. You know? I don't know if you did that I don't know if you did that subconsciously.
I did it again. I drew on the same thing without
duplicating it.
So we'll do that again.
the little bob. You can already see this image like animated in your mind, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's another thing to bring up. Our theme this month is rigged animation, right? So like when you're looking at a storyboard, Vinod, here's a question for you. Like, if you're coming in as an animator, like from scratch, then how do you approach a scene?
Well, I mean, that's why all the questions I've asked you so far. Questions are important, so because you need clarity when you're approaching the scene. The first things I do is like map it out, see what the space looks like. That's why, again, coming to layers, it's all layering it. You got to start somewhere. So when we get a panel like this, let's say this is what the end panel is. This is what we've gotten. We open our Harmony and we start the building process of the environment first, and we start bringing in objects that are first going to be interacted with the characters, and then objects that are just not going to be, which are just what you would call in certain productions matte paintings, but in the land of 2D and Harmony, it's just a background painting, right? So background paintings. Yeah, and then you bring in the scene, and then you start to bring in the rigs, because rigs are created on its own Harmony layer, because you cannot be building that in the same layer that you same Harmony file that you're building the environments. So yeah, because once we see this layout, because we actually start this process simultaneously a little bit while you're storyboarding, because we've spoken with the background people, the backgrounds team and the layouts team, and they've given us like a little sketch. So we'll start building assets, and all the assets are built locally on Harmony because it's the best way of managing. And also Harmony does have an amazing way of managing vectors. There's only an off chance that we'll bring something from Photoshop. For example, for BGs, we'll bring from Photoshop for sure. So
right, that's often the case, right?
Often, yeah, BGs are usually, unless the BG has something interactive. If it's a multi-plane shot, then we'll bring in like some separate elements. Sometimes we'll draw in the element in Harmony, because Harmony has had, they maybe for the past 5 or 6 years they've been handling textures amazingly well. So it's great to just texture things, put an overlay or whatever you want um, on a beachy. So, but most likely yes. But yeah, and that's how you start. That's what we start with, Mike. Like where we start with building out the scene. It all starts with managing what's in the scene. I think that was the first question we asked when our first prompt was given. They're like, "So what's in the scene?" They're like, how many characters do you want?"
Yeah, exactly. Because that's a thing. Character count is a thing. Because when people are boarding recklessly or writing recklessly, they're not thinking about what it's going to take to get that scene accomplished, right? So say you have a scene that's like 300 frames long, right? So every time you add a new character, that you're basically adding another 300 frames.
Correct. And you're doubling it up by
doubling, tripling. Even if you have some held stuff, you're still gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious sometimes. Like I don't know if when you open a Harmony scene, you have to be as economical as possible because some character rigs are extremely dense and they have a lot of detail. They have a lot of assets on them. So if you see the way we use it is that whatever you see on camera, sometimes that's all the rig that we have in the scene. Like if you don't see the arms don't exist in that scene file. We've taken them out. So as soon as the character leaves the screen, it's pretty much a non-existent rig.
Yeah.
We've got a comment from Sam. Sam says the software is totally amazing in all caps. Well thought out. Is there any way to implement a pop out of onion skin the way Procreate Dreams has?
I think so.
There's onion skinning. There's onion skinning in.
Yes, there's onion skinning in Storyboard Pro for sure. I believe there is a way to pop it out too. I don't know. I haven't used Procreate Dreams. I saw it briefly at Lightbox, but I didn't get a chance to mess with it. Unpopular opinion. I'm not a really big fan of the Apple Pencil because I find it a little clunky. But
it takes some getting used to.
I'm a tablet guy, and I've been a tablet guy for a long time with doing stuff with Wacom, and so that's kind of what I like and what I'm used to.
Pasha says, "Nice to see Mike Morris online again. Thank you to
What's up, Pasha? Pasha is a good friend from overseas.
Has Pasha worked on?
He worked on the last Animation Dance Party.
That's right. Yeah, familiar name.
Yeah, he's. I think he's going to get over here to the States at some point too, which would be nice.
That's amazing. I hope to meet you someday in the future, Pasha. If you know Mike, I'm guessing you're a cool person. So.
Oh, I think so. All right, here we go. We've got it. We've got our setup. Dad is gonna walk in.
Wait. Also, I didn't see. Did you have like the dog poking its head in through the door?
No.
Okay.
I just had the three walk in, and I was gonna have the dog.
Can you have the dog poking a little bit, and then the door kind of closes? Just for because
I think that might be kind of fun to have the dog and just sort of like
just kind of sniffing a little bit, be like
sniff, and then he totally slams the door on it and walks away. We had a door slam here a second ago. Where'd it go? Oh, darn it! I did it again. Don't overwrite your panels, people.
That's the theme of the day and the lesson of the day. Do not overwrite panels.
Ooh, slam. This is going to be a better pose anyway.
Also, while we're talking about cautionary moments, please save your file because you don't want that
Auto
crash.
save, dude. Auto
Oh.
saves where it's at.
Sometimes I neurotically save over the autosave as well. I'm like, I'm not gonna trust. I just have a habit of hitting Control S after one, I would say almost, I would say a medium-sized task. If I do it, I am saving the file. It just, I think it's a habit that's built out of a lot of crashes. I've seen that white box of doom where it says fatal error. Oh man.
Yep. Or not responding. That's always
Not responding.
Sometimes I wonder like how much of that is a Windows thing though. You know.
Sometimes it's just it's a computer thing, like where what is the capability of your computer? If you're pushing the limits of your RAM, if you're pushing the limits of your processor.
Because I mean, it's pretty easy to do that, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in this industry, while you're animating, I've crashed my computer tons of times with a Harmony file because because a Harmony file can get extremely. We go into the terabytes because it can get extremely heavy because these rigs, if you want, so when you're drawing, in this level of quality, if you want the same thing to be translated with a rig, it has to be an extremely well done rig with enough moving parts for the animator to then use it and really push that pose, because sometimes in animation you push the pose quite a bit from the boards next stage.
Yeah.
So the rigs are important, and the good rigs are very heavy.
Can you talk about rig breaking a little bit?
Rig breaking?
Yeah, like what it is to sort of break a rig and how sometimes that leads to really good animation posing.
Yeah, so we kept talking about this every time when you did the pose of the lady being licked by the dog, right? So those kind of moments where you're pushing the rig to have this extreme moment. It could be a gag, it could be an action pose, etc. So that is something that is built in when you push beyond the limits of the rig. So there's multiple ways of doing it. You push because there are deformers. That's what we call in order to move the rig around and manipulate the shapes. So these deformers can be pushed to a limit, and they can also be pushed past the limit. But when you want to push past the limit, which is it's not recommended by the rig artist, but when you do it for the gag moment, we always add a replacement drawing as well with the pushing the deformer. So we will draw an exaggerated shape, because all these drawings, to give a preface as to how rigs work, they're just drawings, and the drawings are then connected to an element called the deformer that'll then manipulate the drawing, right? That's how it works.
Right.
So now if you want to try an extreme shape, you can either use a deformer to then push the shape, or you can use a deformer plus you can add a different drawing. It's almost like adding a new frame at that very moment. When the deformer is going from point A to point B, at that point you can add an exaggerated drawing. Like in your case, Mike, the drawing that you did, I think I would add a replacement drawing for the hair to go really spiky at the point where it gets licked, So
right.
But that's something we push the rig past its limits, or past its constraints, as we call it in technical way. Yeah, it's always fun. Do you like seeing crazy rig poses, Mike?
Always. I always love to see those types of drawings. Because if you look at the classical hand drawn stuff, there's always a lot of really amazing poses that you just don't see, but you more feel.
Right.
When you look at them, I always go back to the classic Peter Pan Disney movie when they're in that cave and Peter Pan is saving Tiger Lily and playing some pranks, and then him and Captain Hook get on into a fight, right? And he comes down really hard with his sword blow, boom, and Peter's got this. He's got his dagger up like that, and the entire thing is just Peter with wavy lines. The entire one impact drawing,
right?
And it's like, oh crap, you can do that? Yeah, you can totally do that.
No, it's the classic style of like you said, it's called impact drawing. There's also smear frames where you completely distort the image in order to get a massive movement across, right? You'll see that a lot. You'll see that you can in Coyote in Roadrunner show. Every time Coyote
Oh
turns his
yeah.
head, if you pause and you see the smear frame, there are about five different a set of eyes, and then it's almost like a bridge from one frame to another. I love smear framing personally. That is one of my favorite styles of animation. Um, have you seen this movie Osmosis Jones?
Osmosis Jones, like a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah. That movie
It's
was
Tom
so
Cito.
beautifully animated. I think so. I just remember the animator's name. It's Ryan Woodward.
Oh
Such a good
yeah,
animator.
Ryan's awesome. He's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Woodward's red. Woodward's a rad guy.
what was the short that he made that was extremely popular? Thought of You. That was.
Oh yeah, he started doing a lot of really like lyrical, rhythmic dance stuff.
And for the way he does it, honestly, it's so satisfying to watch.
Yeah,
That
really
Thought of
is.
You music video, I think I might have seen it a few thousands of times. I would say.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think we're gonna do some stuff here.
is he about to carve the turkey?
The turkey is about to be gone. So he's gonna do a take here in classic cartoon animation vernacular.
Take.
Other people call this an anticipation pose, and this is the anticipation pose. But the like surprise, that's the take.
Which I have a technical question in your drawing. Did you draw? Is the one with the blue ink? Is that? Are you treating that like an onion skin?
Yes.
Uh,
It's kind of an easy way to do onion skin without needing to
onion skin.
do onion skin. It's just something that I've gotten kind of used to doing. He looks.
Would you say that technique originated before onion skinning?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, we'll use the onion skin this time, so you can kind of see how that would work.
Is that a special pose coming up right here?
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good point for me to talk about, like when you're bringing things like this toward the camera, because mind you, these rigs in Harmony are not 3D, right? They're a flat rig. They're just in a probably a very minute level of Z depth that is differentiating them in terms of layers. But when we need drawings that are going towards the camera and that get bigger, that is literally just a drawing that's bigger. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no move. There's no. We're not moving the rig in Z space. It's just it's how you do it in boards. Similar to that in Harmony, we just draw a bigger hand.
Yeah, and in this case, I think we're gonna skip some of the animation niceties,
Right.
like the up and the down. I
That,
suppose you could do it fairly easily if you just warp it a little bit with the vectors, but especially like in the eyes.
Yeah, you would only do this at the liberty of time, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of time, we have 10 minutes to go for this.
We better draw fast then.
Look at those.
It's gonna get dirty real quick.
I mean, on an average, isn't this the speed that you probably draw at out of production? Because there's probably
similar, yeah. So let's do this. Let's do, you know, pretty wide shot. Empty. There's kind of some stuff all over the table.
Well, Mike, why do you do this?
And
I have a question for you as you take this to the closing line.
Yeah.
What surprises you the most as an artist, as a storyboard artist starting off? What are the surprises that? Yeah, what surprised you the most?
Oh, when I started?
Yeah, or when you see someone starting off as well, or you could be taken in both ways. But what at the beginning of your storyboarding career, what are the things that kind of caught you off guard?
What surprised me the most is just that, like, I was taken out of my comfort zone a lot just in drawing, right? So like it, you know, like when you start learning how to draw, you sort of gravitate towards certain things, right? Some people like to draw cars, some people like to draw people, some people like to draw
You have your little you have your little arsenal of things you like drawing. When if someone hands you a blank paper, what was the first thing that you would draw?
Oh, probably a superhero or some sort of other card. I was always a big Disney fan.
I would have said dragon with you, because I don't know why I associate you with this one drawing of a dragon that you made on the fly. We were just hanging. It was you and me. We were just hanging out at the Wacom booth. I believe this was probably Comic-Con 2019, and you just came by and you just sketched out while you were chatting with me. You just sketched out this little smaug of a character, and it stayed in my brain for so long. And when I said, "What would you draw?" I thought you would say dragon.
No, I didn't really draw a lot of dragons like growing up. No, I always liked the concept of dragons and the concepts of that sort of thing. But okay, and let's put the kid right here.
I love this idea of the dog's eye. It's just so cute.
And then like mom is like in a very different spot than when we saw her last. You know, and she's got a holding. Let's see, what would she be holding? I think she's holding like the fork that you
the little car, yeah, the giant 2-prong fork, as you call it.
Yeah. This guy's already sat down to dinner.
Yeah.
The kid is right here at the end of the table with a mouthful of something. We've got I don't know. Let's see. Let's put Surfer Dude here on the ground, and he's got like his feet up on the table or something. And he's just got like sandals on.
Okay, so that answers my question that I asked. I was like, does he have those little beach flip flops?
Well, I mean, I didn't want our audience to like be wondering, you know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to leave them in the dark.
He's got some food in his mouth. And we've got, you know, homegirl by the window, having opened the window. She's got her braces right there showing.
Almost looks like the Rick.
She kind of looks like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Or no, yeah. At the end of Beetlejuice, when she's like all in that outfit. Then I think we need to do like the stereotypical. Everybody points at everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's stereotypical.
It's a total Knives Out scene now. Or it's like a little mix of Knives Out and the Spider-Man meme, where people just they're all pointing at each other.
Yeah. That guy's. See, I think he should point at the wife.
You should have the dog's eye, like the iris, dart to somebody. And the kid.
He points at the dog. These two are pointing at each other. And then we can cut back to this shot. Delete that, we don't need that.
Is this more like a reaction for the dad?
Yeah. Now he's going to be the unwitting detective here.
It's going to be the Daniel Craig.
He's going to have the dad look.
Dad look.
You know, he comes in, what the? And the whole place is wrecked. They're like, you know, I think it should be one of those things where almost everybody has like something.
As like a full mouth, yeah. Like they're all the culprit. You know, they all ate the turkey.
Yeah, something. I think we just put that on the wrong layer though.
You know, the lady yelling, or with the, you should have like turkey falling out of her mouth as she's yelling.
We don't want anything falling out of anybody's mouth right now because we only have clues as to who it was.
You know, but we have 3 minutes left, so we need to solve this clue in 3 minutes.
Yep, I think we should do a quick pan over the people. So we have Mama Pie, dude down low, eyeball, kid, weird girl, surfer dude. And we just pan over them. Start over here. End over here. And then his hands out from behind his back. Oops. Copy that.
What's his mood? What's his mood over here? Is he about to go full detective mode?
Yeah, full detective mode.
Full detective.
I mean, if it was like a Sherlock Holmes situation, he'd probably be like getting out a pipe or something like that right now. And be like, from this point on, nobody leaves. Seems like we got a Mr. All right, let's run through it.
Yeah, we're 1 minute. We're 1 minute out, and
we got.
That's the kid. That's the crazy girl with the braces. And this one can be.
Okay. From the top, here we go. So we open on a turkey, and it's steaming with delicious goodness. And we pan up to see the kids sniffing it. Hey, Mom, when are we going to eat? I'm starving. Oh, when your father's guests get here, honey. Aw. Don't worry, champ. They should be here soon. And he says, just hold on a little longer. Bing bong. There they are now. And he goes over, opens the door, and it's a group of weirdos, misfits. And hi, we're here. I hope you don't mind I brought my dog. No problem at all. Just come on in. And I think you should maybe have a little bit of a stare right here. Let's just do this panel really quick and have him
like a beat before he says, "Oh, no problem at all."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been like, okay.
Here we go. Good enough.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Come on in. Oh, yeah, dude, I'm totally starving. And sniff, and then slam. And, he comes back in, looks, and then what? The whole place is wrecked. Everybody's looking guilty, and they all start to point to one another. He looks them over, and this pan isn't nearly long enough. Like that. And he looks them all over, all of the guilty faces. All right, everyone, from this point on, no one leaves until this is solved. And that's where we're going to stop. Aha.
Wonderful. Beautifully done. Well done.
Sir.
Well done. Wow, that was inspiring, Mike. Thank you so much for imparting your wisdom while showing your wisdom. It's great.
All right, cool.
Right.
So I hope everybody enjoyed our stream.
Yeah, that was and anyways, Mike, thank you so much for joining us once again on this fantastic journey. Thank you everyone that joined this Collaboratory, and if Mike could draw in an hour, think about what you can do in the next 3 weeks of what you've learned from now. You can download a 21-day trial of Storyboard Pro from our website on toonboom.com and find the free video tutorials on learn.toonboom.com. And if you're looking for more interviews, be sure to check the blog.toonboom.com for articles about storyboarding, animating, and everything about animation. Thank you.
And remember, now on YouTube and also on Twitch, we have a large library of previous episodes. So if you can't get enough of watching storyboards happen, I guess live but not live, then check us out. There's a lot of things we cover, a lot of topics, over 30 plus episodes.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. Thank you.